How do you know you're lifting heavy enough to build muscle? Find out in today's weekend Q&A bonus episode. Welcome to the Wits and Weights podcast. I'm your host, Philip Pape, and this twice-a-week podcast is dedicated to helping you achieve physical self-mastery by getting stronger, optimizing your nutrition, and upgrading your body composition. We'll uncover science-backed strategies for movement, metabolism, muscle, and mindset with a skeptical eye on the fitness industry so you can look and feel your absolute best. Let's dive right in. Hello and welcome to the special weekend Q&A edition of the Wits and Weights podcast, where we supercharge your Saturdays and Sundays with an answer to one burning question so you can put it into action this weekend. These questions are taken from the weekly Ask Philip thread in our free Wits and Weights Facebook community. If you're feeling overwhelmed by the endless amount of information, and let's be honest, misinformation online, and just want a straight up answer without the jargon, that's what this free service is for. With the weekly Ask Philip thread, you can post a specific question relevant to your unique individual situation that week and have it answered live by me on Friday. If you'd like to experience it yourself, I invite you to use the link in the show notes to join the Wits and Weights Facebook group. It's totally free, and you'll quickly find out what a positive and supportive community it is. With that, let's get to today's Q&A. How do you know you're lifting heavy enough to build the muscle? Oh my goodness, this is such a fundamental, simple question, but one that everyone has on their mind when they're lifting weights. And then when you see my content and you see me talking about weights, I'm like, you've got to train heavy. You've got to use progressive overload. You've got to use, the muscle mechanical tension and effective reps or whatever. It's like, okay, what does that mean? All right, I have a few thoughts. The first thought is, like with anything, you know when the results tell you you're doing the thing. What does that mean? Well, if your goal is to build muscle, your results are you're building muscle. Now, how do you know you're building muscle? Well, this is where there's multiple data points that can tell you that. One is just how you look and feel, right? Are you filling out your arms or your glutes or whatever, wherever you're trying to build your muscle? Are you feeling leaner and stronger? Are your lifts progressing? That's one of the main ways that we know, because muscle follows strength. If you're progressing on your lifts, no matter what rep ranges you're using, no matter what programming you're using, if they are progressing in some way, load, reps, sets, then you are getting stronger and lifting heavy enough. If you're flatlined, if you're lifting the same weights week after week after week, then you're not, right? Circumference measurements, right? That's another objective way to do it. Your waist size or your like biceps, your thighs, your chest should all be kind of slowly trending up over time. That's one. The second way is in the session itself, when you are lifting. If you feel like you could do another 2 reps, you're probably not lifting heavy enough. Now, again, it depends on the lift. The big compound lifts, if you're doing, for example, sets across, like 3 sets of 5, and your goal is to get exactly 5 reps, it's not so much about the feel as the fact that you went up by more weight than you did last time and the time before that and time before that. And eventually you'll know what heavy feels like because you will be building muscle. The fact that you can go up in weight each time, go back to my first comment, means that you're lifting heavy enough. But if you're working in like a rep range, let's say 8 to 12, and you bang out 12 reps and it's like, okay, done. No. If you get to 12 and you feel like you could do 2 more reps, do 2 more reps. And then if you still feel like you could do 2 more, do 2 more. You get my point. You should be able to go to the point where the next rep is really hard, where you could barely get it done. Now, there's grinding, which is like on a big lift where you're shaking and it takes like 10 seconds to get the lift. You don't always want to be at that place necessarily, but and that's why I like sets across for beginners for the big lifts. But for the accessory work, like let's say you're doing bicep curls, you can go to complete failure on those. You can go to where, you get it slows down again. And then this next rep is like, you're just impossible to get it up. You lifted heavy enough. And then next week you should be able to increase the weight or add more reps or add more sets even. I mean, that's a more advanced strategy there. All right. So the feel of it, meaning you're not just hitting 12 reps because that's what your program says. You're hitting what's actually heavy. Now, if you get to 12 and it's super easy during the session, I would just up the weight and consider that last set a warm-up set and up the weight until the 12 is barely accomplishable. And then you're lifting heavy enough. That's it for today's weekend Q&A bonus episode. Remember, this is just a small part of the weekly Ask Philip live Q&A in the Wits and Weights Facebook group, which you can join totally free using the link in the show notes. I invite you to join us as we improve our health and physique together. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Wits and Weights. If you found value in today's episode and know someone else who's looking to level up their wits or weights, please take a moment to share this episode with them. And make sure to hit the follow button in your podcast platform right now to catch the next episode. Until then, stay strong. Hey, before you go, I want to let you know about a free resource I have. They are free guides on everything from fat loss to eating out to building muscle to managing hunger to figuring out the best macros for you and more being added all the time. You want to get the most out of these podcasts and your time to look and feel your best, and these free guides will give you a quick and easy way to know what to do. If you want to get your hands on these completely free guides, you can head over to witsandweights.com/free. That's witsandweights.com/free to get your free guides and level up your results today.